I do want to start a little bit with what you're seeing in Phoenix right now and how you're navigating the broader policy environment, especially given the fact that you do have a lot of new business coming to the Phoenix area, including Taiwan Semiconductor with a $165 billion investment to build out fabrication plants in the area. This is the largest private sector investment in the entire country. So given what we're seeing from a trade and tariff and push to reshore manufacturing here in the U.S. moment right now, what does this mean for Phoenix?
So it's an exciting time for Phoenix. We've been a huge beneficiary of international trade. Traditionally, it's been Canada and Mexico have been our key trading partners. But we are thrilled to have TSMC, they're the folks who make the chips for NVIDIA, Apple, and more, investing in Phoenix. It was actually my first international trip as mayor, was to go to recruit them. Went out to Taiwan on my birthday, and they got me a birthday cake with extra frosting because they heard Americans really like sugar. True in my case, but have been really wonderful. We have a history of advanced manufacturing and semiconductors that helped us, and then great university partners, education partners. So they first announced at $12 billion, which we were so thrilled. It was the largest economic news in Phoenix history, but now we're at $165 billion, and it's changing the city in incredible ways. It's like building a city within a city. They have their own cement plant. Like to feed the 13,000 construction workers requires its own supply chain. It's really incredible to see what it's doing and just to meet some of the people building it. We have Navajo women who used to work in coal in Arizona who are now doing iron work at the semiconductor plant. About 20% of the iron workers are Navajo women. So just these stories are incredible, and the salaries are like above 100,000, so more than the mayor of Phoenix. But life-changing amounts of money, and it's really exciting, but we're trying to understand what the impacts of the tariffs are. So many of these semiconductors go back and forth across national lines over and over again, and so just trying to understand how that will be disruptive and what the tariffs mean for us. We're trying to be a little bit more flexible with our budget, leave some breathing room, because we're thinking there's going to be huge, huge changes in our economy.
When you go to Taiwan and you pitch to TSMC, hey, come to Phoenix, invest here, what does that conversation look like? And given the fact that this number is now ballooning, what does it mean in terms of how quickly the city can keep pace with that investment?
It is really exciting for us. When we first went out, they asked for a site large enough to allow 6 fabrication plants, which it's hard to explain how big one fabrication plant is, but they're really enormous, billions and billions of dollars of investment. And so this was sort of the apex of what was achievable, but we really had to earn it. And it's a big change for us. They designed the water system in metric. That was new for us. They use a different voltage than anywhere else in Phoenix. It was a bunch of changes that we really had to work hard and grow as a city in terms of investing in our workforce so that we could be more cosmopolitan. So we really are proud to have earned it. The whole city stepped up in every level of government. So our school district has an incredible Mandarin program that they've been investing in. The quality of dumplings in Phoenix has, a lot of their business partners are Japanese and South Korean. So between Japanese, South Korean, and Taiwanese food, it has been incredible. We've tried to work with our hospital system to get physicians who can speak in Mandarin, because when you're sick, you don't want to be speaking your second language. So it's really changed the city for the better in many ways, and that's been incredibly exciting, and we want it to continue to be a success.
Are there enough workers? What does all of this mean for, I guess, the population of the city more broadly and the composition of it?
We are trying as much as possible to provide training to people who are already in our community. I had a learning curve with speaking about semiconductors to elementary school students. You don't use the term semiconductors, but if you talk about the brains of your video games, then we get a little bit more interest. And just how tiny they are, they're magical. Like a human hair is so wide compared to what these semiconductors are doing. Human hair, enormous. So we're trying to get, starting as early as possible, our kids excited about these kind of advanced tech jobs, and just help people understand. You might have an idea in your head about what manufacturing is that, I don't know, might be like an old style power plant or something, and these are incredibly clean, very modern, very high tech job, so just trying to help get people excited about that. When we had the first training flight return from Taiwan to Phoenix, I made the mistake of greeting everyone after the 12-hour flight. And there was all these like Arizona State graduates who'd just gotten off a 12-hour flight, and they're like, there's the mayor. But we're really trying to do a good job welcoming them. This week we'll launch an expanded apprenticeship program to help people who've never been in semiconductors get the training, and we're able to do that in partnership with the federal government, so we're using federal workforce dollars to try to get more people trained, and then they become our ambassadors and tell their family about this exciting industry. And
we have a question from the audience. I'm going to go to Jen Geller for that.
Yes, a question about how are you managing a very visible green agenda in the face of maybe an administration that's less green?
So I hold my bachelor's degree is an environmental degree, and this is a real area of priority to me. I work in power and water before running for office, which is maybe an untraditional background for a mayor, but one that's been so relevant for Phoenix. We in Phoenix have so many benefits from our weather, so we train so many of the nation's pilots because it's always sunny. We have a great solar sector, the largest autonomous vehicle zone in the world, in part because it's sunny and great weather for cool, innovative technology. But we know every summer it'll be a real challenge around heat, and so we're trying to do as much as we can to adapt the city. So we're trying to design better buildings with more shade. We're putting lighter colored coating on city streets so the black asphalt doesn't absorb as much heat overnight. We're really trying to, even our public art in Phoenix, we're trying to emphasize shade canopies just to make the city more comfortable. We're building a clean tech incubator to try to get as much innovation as we can. So for our entrepreneurs out here, if you want to address climate change, my pitch to you is Phoenix is the place to do it. We really want to be part of the solution. I am blessed to be a part of a network of mayors that works on this issue. So I serve as chair of Climate Mayors, which is a group of hundreds of mayors, Democrat, Republican, and independent, who are still committed to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions in line with the Paris Accords. And we think local leadership is really going to matter. It's my plan to go to the International Climate Convening in Brazil this year and say, America is still all in. It's just happening a lot more at the subnational level. States and cities are going to continue to innovate. I went to my voters in 2023 and we passed an ambitious bond that gives us some local funding to be able to invest in solar energy, clean tech, and other sustainable solutions. So we are going to keep making progress and trying new things to do our part.
So clean tech, we've got advanced manufacturing. You're also doing things like drone deliveries for Amazon, and Waymo is got autonomous vehicles in the area, taxis, air taxis. You're testing all of these transportation and mobility technologies and pieces of the infrastructure puzzle too.
We really want Phoenix to be known for innovation, and it's incredibly exciting what's happening in Phoenix. So there's one airport in the world where you can take an autonomous vehicle to the airport, and that is Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. It's like a thing to do in the tourist guides now. We had a comedian who was doing a set in Phoenix, and he took one and filmed himself, and he was like, guys, the future has arrived, and the future is Phoenix. So we printed a bunch of things that said future is Phoenix after that, and when we had the Super Bowl, we handed them out. First Super Bowl with an autonomous vehicle sponsor as well as an electric vehicle sponsor. So we're trying to do innovation in that area. We have worked with Amazon to have Prime delivery. It's for about 80% of their packages have a chance to have drone delivery, and so they'll be doing they did a soft launch, and then they'll have a bigger launch at the end of this month, so more coming soon in that area. We've invested in things like AI-powered traffic signals, so if someone trips, it has the ability to stop the signal and maybe save a life. That one's really powerful for me. Before running for office, worked in a corporate strategy and innovation group, and I think that maybe explains how I am the way I am. But in a sadder moment, my boss was killed in a traffic accident, and it's just something that's always been on my mind. How can we save more lives in that area? So we're trying to take innovation and look at all of our challenges and really say cities are living laboratories. If we want to be the best, most innovative city, we have to try new things. I shall confess, now that we know it's a success, I was very nervous for the launch at the airport. A lot of one-way streets, and people are maybe not on their best driving behavior at an airport, but so far it's been a success, and it's the Waymo is the Google autonomous vehicle. It's their #1 destination is our airport.
You just mentioned running for office. You have a personal story around that moment of deciding to run for office and sort of stepping into this next stage of your life that I think is very powerful and very inspirational. So you could share a little bit about that and your words of wisdom about what it is to step through that door that's opening, whether you're knocking on it or not.
So I had a real gut check moment in 2017. I was on the Phoenix City Council, and our mayor announced he was going to leave to run for Congress, so open mayoral seat. I had long been interested in running, but it was a rough time in my personal life. My mom had just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I was pregnant, and my marriage fell apart, so I was newly divorced with an infant. At that time in our country, none of the 15 largest cities had a single female mayor, and so you look and you say, can women win big city mayors races? Like, it's a real leap of faith, and even more so if you're an unmarried woman with an infant, which is maybe not what people have in mind when they picture leadership. And so I really went back and forth about whether or not to do it. And initially I decided I couldn't do it. It was too much. I felt like everyone was asking questions about my divorce and my personal life, and I didn't want to put myself in too much scrutiny over that. And then as I got a few months into being a mother, I was sleeping more, which helped a lot. And then people were wonderful. People wanted to support me and help me be successful in public service and be a successful mother. And I realized there wasn't a need to be a perfect mayor with your entire life in order. In fact, it maybe makes you a better mayor if you're juggling the same challenges everyone else is and have the same pressures. And so I did end up running, and I'm so glad I did. So if there's anyone out there and you're making a big life decision and you want to wait till your life is perfect, I would say don't do it. Your life is, at least my life has never been perfect. But I think if you share what your goal is and what the vision is, what you hope to achieve, a lot of people are willing to help you along the way. And so many people shared with me they had similar life moments. I had felt very alone at the beginning. I was not aware of knowing a lot of women who'd gone through a divorce really early in parenting, but people have been wonderful about sharing their bumps with me, and hopefully I will make it easier for the next mom who wants to do a career change or a promotion. Just knowing that the people of Phoenix were very, very supportive. It did not end up being the huge issue that I thought. I ended up putting my kiddo in my television commercials and just like leaning into like, this is where I am in my life and this is who I am, and it worked out for me. But it was a lot of doubt along the way.
So I think we have to wrap this up, but I am going to ask you one more question. You just had 2 very successful terms. You just started your 3rd. What can we expect from you now in these next couple of years? And then in that next chapter, do you continue in public service, or are you thinking about other things?
So I have inauguration in 2 weeks, so I'm just about to start another term, which is really exciting. We're hoping to make Phoenix as future ready as possible. And then I hit term limits, so it's exciting to think about what could come next. I'm really enjoying public service right now, but I do have that MBA in entrepreneurship, so I don't know if I can find a good way to combine the two or move forward. At the moment, though, it's exciting to have 4 more years in the city of Phoenix. We're at a really good place. We feel like we're the good news branch of government. And so we're hoping to continue to deliver results.
All right, on that note,